All right, so we're going to pick up where we left off in automating selecting keyword tags for YouTube videos based on Gen AI output, and then also ordering it based on a scoring coming from VidIQ in this case. So ideally, we want to be able to run this for our entire channel, update everything in one shot, but we're going to need to do a couple steps to make that happen. So we're going to add a few more additional steps today, which will set us up to fully automate it in the next video. So starting here, we've got a list of keywords that we built from Gen AI. We asked for 30 potential keywords based on the description of our video. And now we're going to try and pick the best ones of those to use, the top 8 based on the scores from VidIQ. So if you watched the last video, you saw how we did that. We built essentially a lookup list of the potential keywords and what their score was from VidIQ. So while that was helpful, we still had to do a few manual pieces. So in this edition, we're going to automate those, and then we'll put it all together in the final video. So you can see here this keyword automating. We know what the score is, so we can put in a value here. For all these where it's -1, we don't have a value in our keywords lookup sheet, so they're coming back with -1. So this is the first step that we want to do here, is that we want to make sure that for all of these values that we don't know, we're at least going to put a record into this keyword table. So we've created a script here, and the app script that's going to look through all of the records, all of the potential keywords in that first sheet. And if there is no value in the keywords sheet, meaning we don't have a lookup, and that's going to be a -1 because that's the error condition for our lookup, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to insert that value into the keyword sheet, and we're going to set it with a value of -2. And this is just so we don't get into duplication by using the same value of -1 when there's an error. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this. And you can see there's logging outputs here at the bottom. Whenever there's a value that we don't know, it logs the keyword there. So if we go back, you'll now see that all of these keywords that we don't know about are returning -2. And if we go into our lookup sheet here, you can see they've all been inserted. So this is the first step, that now we're just getting all of these values into the lookup sheet. So we don't know what they are yet, but we know that we care about them. We've also put in the same hypertext link that we had in the previous sheet, just to make it easier to go ahead and look up the value. So we can just click on it, and it's going to go ahead and give us the score. So the next step we need to do is we need to extract this score here, which is a little annoying. This is buried in a bunch of JavaScript and div tags, and maybe there's fancier ways to do it, but for the time being, this is how I'm going to do it with a Power Automate flow. So there's 2 flows actually. So the first one, running on the Power Automate desktop, is going to take a keyword URL as the input, which is just that link to look up the VidIQ score based on a keyword. It's going to launch a new browser. It's going to navigate down to that div tag that we showed. It's going to split out some of the text. In theory, you should be able to do this in one step. I had some issues doing it in Power Automate, so this is probably something that could be cleaned up. And then we're going to set an output value to the score that we found here. And then finally closing the browser. So let me just adjust the screen a little here, and we'll go ahead and just run a test so you can see what it looks like. You can see I've already run one here, but I'm going to run it. So you pop up a browser in the back, which is on that VidIQ page, and then it's going to close it out, and you can see here it's returned the score of 51. In this case, it was looking up the value of the keyword test, and some of the other values there. So this is the first automation step. So for a single keyword, this will open up a browser. It'll scrape the div tag, parse out the value, close the browser, and return it. So that's good. That'll get us one. So now we're going to go into a web-based Power Automate flow. And let me get there in a second. Here we go. Now, I just did this one on the web because it's easier to read from the Google Sheets here. Maybe you can put this all together. I'm not really sure. This is my first time working with it. So we're going to manually kick this off. We're going to get all of the rows that are in our Google Sheet. So in this keywords sheet, so all the keywords that we might care about. Then we're going to go through each of them, and then we're going to check that if the value of the score is -2, so meaning that we've inserted it from that previous scripting step, then we want to go in and actually find out what the value is. So if that's true, we're going to grab that value, and then we're going to call the Power Automate flow on the desktop. So in order to do this, you need to have this Power Automate Machine Runtime running, connecting your desktop machine into the environment. Wasn't too bad to set up. And then once that's run, it's going to take that output and it's going to update it into the row in the sheet. So in theory, if we go ahead and run this, it should go in and update those values. So we shall see what happens there. So now this is going through each. It takes a little bit sometimes, and you should see it pop up the browser when it gets there. We'll let this run. We may have to come back to it. All right, so now you can see it's starting to get to the values that we don't know about. It's going to look those up. It's going to parse out the value, and then it's going to go in and update the sheet here. So you can see it just changed that -2 for the YouTube keyword to 60, which was based off of looking up the value. So this takes a little while to run, and so you may need to just kick it off and let it run. But then it's going to go through and it's going to grab all of these keywords and update them. So there you go, the couple. I'm going to let this run and finish them all out, and then we'll have scores for every potential keyword that we might want to look up. So that's the end for this one, and the next one we'll put this all together and we'll do a full automation run end to end.